Back in the summer of 2024, I was pretty frustrated with how Fender were handling the Jaguar. I made a video where I went over every single Jag that was available at the time of filming, all to point out the fact that I felt something was missing. I wanted to see a proper vintage spec reissue again. Custom colors, all the original electronics, all the original hardware, a rosewood fingerboard, and a matching headstock. I wasn't sure how much of the community was going to feel the same way that I did, but it ended up surprising me how many people felt the same way. Matter of fact, the top comment on that video stated all he wanted was a Sherwood green Jaguar with a matching headstock. And here it is, the Vintera 3 mid-60s Jaguar.
She had a short black dress, suits me on boots on. She was moving to the beat while man alone was watching me all night long. Now come on, now come on.
Vintera 3 mid-60s Jaguar is available in 3 different colors: Sherwood green, shell pink, and 3-tone sunburst. And you'd be forgiven for thinking that all Fender did here was swap out the maple fingerboard for rosewood one, add in some of those custom colors that I mentioned and matching headstocks, throw in the mute, and call it a day. But honestly, they've really gone above and beyond for this release. Outside of the different cosmetics, the first thing that jumped out to me was the return of the mute. It's just essential for a classic Fender Jaguar. It provides you with so many unique tones, and the more time that you get familiar with it and you play around with it, the more useful you'll find it to be. Fender also made some big changes under the hood that you won't notice when the guitar is fully assembled. When I popped off the lead control plate here, I noticed that not only was all the wiring cloth wire and all the electronics were vintage correct, it actually has conductive shielding paint in it, which is the first for the Vintera line. Vintage correct CTS components, upgraded shielding, high quality switches, and a brand new set of mid-60s Jaguar pickups round out the electronics. The neck profile is also listed as a mid-60C, but it's pretty much exactly what I would have picked if I was the one in charge of production. It reminds me so much of one of my all-time favorite Fender reissues, the American Vintage 65 Jag. At the first fret, it measures out at .85, and at the 12th fret, .97. Just fills your hand up so well without feeling like a baseball bat. Rosewood fingerboard, 7¼ inch radius, and vintage-sized fret wire. And finally, a very welcome change that's not exclusive to the Jaguar, but included on all the new Vintera 3 guitars, a 42mm bone nut. The same thing that you're going to find on the American Vintage 2 guitars. When I first saw these guitars were being released, I never expected this many changes, but they're more than welcome to me because they're meaningful changes. To me, it also says that Fender really did their homework on this one and they put their best foot forward. I have two more playing examples I want to share with you, but I want to set them up with a little bit of context so you know exactly what I'm testing. In the first one, I'm going to have dirt on the entire time. All I'm going to use is the bridge pickup. I'm not going to touch the volume control whatsoever. Instead, I'm going to use different dynamics in my picking to see how well the guitar cleans up. In the second one, we're going to start with the strangle on. We're going to play with a lot of time-based effects, and then we're going to compare how it sounds versus the full-on neck pickup with the strangle disengaged. Before I give you my final opinion on this guitar, I want to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Yes, Fender did send me this guitar so I could have a day one review up for you guys. And I know that there's always this sort of trust level thing on YouTube. You see the paid promotion, you know that, oh, they're working with the brand, they're never going to say anything bad. And to some extent, I've seen that be the case. But in this scenario right here, Fender made this very, 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 very easy for me. Because when they get it right, they are impossible to beat, especially when it comes to the offset guitars. I have nothing to complain about. There's only one thing that I would honestly want to change on this guitar, and that's the vibrato. It's not because it's not functional, it's because I'm used to the positioning of the arm from the American vintage vibrato. That's it. These pickups are crazy good. They're crazy good. I have nothing to complain about with them. The neck is the exact shape that I would have wanted. As I stated earlier, that mid-60s shape, specifically from the American Vintage 65 Jag, that's like my favorite of all time, and this is so reminiscent of it. I mean, if I was just nitpicking cons here, and actually one of these is a pretty valid thing, if you're somebody who does not want to deal with something that is on the heavier side of things, this is a guitar that I would highly recommend checking out in person first to see if it's a good match for you, or being really picky about where you buy them from, because you want to know how much this thing is going to weigh, because these can be a little bit on the heavier side, like a Les Paul even in some cases. To me though, it's all about balance. When the guitar is well balanced, it can be a little bit on the heavier side. You don't notice the weight as much. I don't really notice it with this guitar all that much, and it's definitely the heaviest guitar I have in the room right now. There is one other thing you should know if you've never owned a Fender Jaguar with a mute. In order for it to work properly, the bridge has to be high enough so that when you engage the mute, the foam on the mute isn't pushing the strings up and making them go sharp. In order to do that, you're going to either have a little bit higher action than you might be used to, or the other solution that you can do to this, you could throw in a neck shim. That way the neck is going to be angled upwards a little bit, and you can be able to have a little bit lower action that way. But it's just something you should be aware of. If you've never had the opportunity to play a vintage or a vintage reissue Jaguar before, this is a great way to get into one. It's not going to break the bank, and the quality, to me, this specific one, I can't say enough good things. And you know, I've made so many videos about Jaguars. I am passionate about these guitars. I might not be the greatest guitar player in the world. I'm not an expert, and I don't pretend to be an expert, but I know what I like, and I know when something's great. And this one's great. Thank you to Fender for making this possible, and I can't believe I got to be a part of this. It means the world to me, and it means the world to me that you guys supported me enough to make this a reality. You can continue doing that, hopefully make more things like this possible in the future. Hit the like button on this video if you made it this far. I definitely appreciate that. You want to check out one of these guitars, I encourage you to please use one of the affiliate links down below. It lets Fender know that, you know, this wasn't all for nothing, and also I make a little bit of commission on top of that. But that's all for today. Questions, comments, concerns, feel free to use the comments section down below, and I will see you guys very shortly again with this guitar in another video. Take it easy, everybody.